Good evening, I'm KCRG TV9's Danny Frary. We've spent the summer introducing you to some of the most interesting people and places in eastern Iowa. We adopted 4 communities this year, calling them Our Towns. We brought you stories from our town Hiawatha in Lynn County the week of July 7th. Then we featured our town Marengo in Iowa County the week of July 14th. We went to Washington County to take a closer look at our town Kalona after that. And last week, we explored our town Hampton in Franklin County. Now, each community has found ways to solve problems and find success. We'll show you how the people of our town make it work during this Our Town special. We begin in our town Hiawatha. Hiawatha is a professional community that still maintains its small town personality. More than 6,400 people live in the community just north of Cedar Rapids. City promoters make the most of the town's name by emphasizing the Hi in Hiawatha on signs and water towers. Our town Hiawatha is only 53 years old. It was founded by a house trailer salesman named Fay Clark. Hiawatha was the name of a brand of house trailers manufactured in Cedar Rapids in the 1930s. The Hiawatha of today is getting a facelift. City planners have created a streetscape plan that will more clearly define the city's main entrance. Construction has already begun on new sidewalks, limestone walls, and landscaping. Later, a large wall will be added to the intersection of Blair's Ferry Road and Center Point Road, enhancing this important gateway to Hiawatha.
There's no real focal point and no way to really identify the city of Hiawatha, so this will help identify the city of Hiawatha.
It's really a community betterment effort to provide a better appearance when people are entering the city of Hiawatha.
Construction of the first section of Hiawatha's streetscape plan cost $1.1 million. The next section from Emmons Street to Boyson Road along Center Point Road will be mapped out over the winter. And in the future, the city hopes to build larger town center at the intersection of Emmons and Center Point Roads. The sidewalks along the road also serve as the newest section of the Cedar Valley Nature Trail. Construction workers are just completing the Hiawatha segment, which is just short of a mile. This seamless trail now connects northern Waterloo to southern Cedar Rapids.
It really allows an alternative to getting in a car and going somewhere within the metropolitan area. There are a lot of people who ride casually. There are others who use trails like this to get to work. And so this now provides a connected system for them to do that.
Now, this trail is free for anyone to use in Hiawatha and Cedar Rapids. Hiawatha's portion of the trail costs $300,000 to complete. Hiawatha's future plans also include a 30-acre park on the northwest part of town. The parcel of land doesn't have a name yet, but engineers are studying its capacity.
There's 30 acres of park, and people are asking for about 100 acres worth of facilities on there, so they're going to have to sort that out and decide what it will be.
The area will be graded before the end of the year, but Mayor Patterson says plans for construction haven't been set yet. There's a place in our town, Hiawatha, that will bring you closer to nature and all it has to offer. KCRG TV9's Bruce Audi shows how the Prairie Woods Franciscan Spirituality Center is a place you have to experience to truly enjoy.
If you listen carefully, you can hear it. The calming sounds of nature permeate the Prairie Woods Franciscan Spirituality Center in our town, Hiawatha.
The earth is a reflection of God, and so we have a sense of who God is from the fact that the earth and all this beauty is here.
The Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration run Prairie Woods Center. They say the 70-acre preserve is a sacred place, bringing visitors closer to the connection between ecology and spirituality.
Through nature and through the beauty around us and the miracles that happen when you have that little seed that grows into a plant, a tree, you have a sense of the magnificent architecture that is in creation itself. So I think we learn so much about who we are in the context of the whole world when we realize that this world is here and we're part of it.
About 900 people come to Prairie Woods each month for special programs, counseling sessions, business meetings, or just to meditate. Each building was created with energy conservation in mind.
The water from the parking lots comes down through here, and as it goes through all those reeds, it clears itself and cleans itself.
From recycled siding to solar panels, every guest house and conference building is environmentally friendly. Wherever you wander at Prairie Woods, there are places set aside for quiet reflection.
We can find lots of activity elsewhere, but when do we stop and have that quiet time that we need for our own inner spirit to touch our souls?
Now, imagine the smell of fresh roasted coffee beans. Nice. Mix in a little entrepreneurial spirit, and you've got Roaster's Coffee House in our town, Hiawatha. KCRG TV9's Cassie Willis shows how roasting coffee beans is half science and half art form.
It's not the same every time, but you try and make it the same. All right, there we go.
Mike Pierce has roasted more than 1,000 pounds of coffee beans since the beginning of the year. He averages 300 pounds a month in his new coffee shop on North Center Point Road in Hiawatha.
This is a product of Indonesia. It's from Sumatra. It's Sumatra Lintong Superior. It's a very, very good coffee. So like our most popular coffee.
Pierce uses coffee beans from all over the world. He says the key to roasting good coffee is time and temperature.
In the first 4 to 6 minutes, you don't want to have any airflow going over the beans. You just want to begin the heating process of the beans.
The beans begin to crack at 370 degrees. That's when they expel carbon dioxide. As they roast, the beans darken and expand to twice their size.
It smells like coffee.
And they begin to give off a familiar odor.
You may get a smell of bread, baking cookies. And as you get in more in the later stages of the roast, you do get kind of a coffee aroma.
The second time the beans crack, Pierce takes action. This is when the flavor of the beans is truly created.
We roast on demand, so anytime we need more beans, we can just roast more beans. And it's fresh, and the flavor it's really good. It's something you can't get anywhere else.
When the beans are hot enough and the smell is just right, Pierce knows he just made a great cup of fresh roasted coffee. And it only took 18 minutes at 413 degrees and the knowledge to know when to stop roasting. In Hiawatha, Cassie Willis, KCRG TV9 News.
Mike Pierce says his customers like the darker roasts with stronger flavors. Me too. The beans from Mexico and Indonesia are the most popular. It's big, it's white, and it's somewhat lopsided. Its creators call it In-Tent City. The building with the white tent roof on the west side of Interstate 380 has drawn a lot of attention. The tent roof is similar to the roofs of the Denver Airport and the Georgia Dome. In-Tent City was created by our town, Hiawatha, as a modern-day marketplace anchored by Guarantee Bank.
But what it does is it gives us the opportunity to landmark ourselves. Rather than saying it's a big building off 380, we become that special building, you know, that building with a funky roof.
The bank features a special piggy bank collection, and that is surrounded by a gas station, 2 restaurants, and a tanning salon. But there are 2 more spaces waiting for new tenants. Dr. Tom Sherman has created a successful practice in our town, Hiawatha, while preserving a few acres for nature. The chiropractor began buying farmland along North Center Point Road in 1972. Since then, he's created a haven for geese and pheasants. The lakes make a beautiful background for his 38-year-old practice. Dr. Sherman is proud to live and work in our town, Hiawatha.
The people are so nice. You know, I have people come from all over the world as patients, and they just can't get over how nice people are. And it's always been that way as far as I know. You know, it's kind of a special little community.
Dr. Sherman is also a pilot. The grass landing strip behind his office is frequented by patients from all over the country. And you'll catch Tom getting in a few touch-and-goes before lunch from time to time. On the other side of the interstate is a sports complex that's busy more than 12 hours a day. KCRG TV9's Kent Lee shows how sports are a way of life at the Sports Zone in our town, Hiawatha.
Just off of Highway 380 on the northwest side of Hiawatha sits Sports Zone. Red's off, blue's on.
This 8.5-acre facility,
Don't force it. Heads up back now.
is home to the only indoor soccer field in the state.
You play soccer and you take it very seriously. Soccer's played 12 months out of the year here. We get teams from as far as Marshalltown, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Cedar Falls. We've had them come from Davenport.
Red in. Come on, you guys, come in.
More than 120 teams and 1,300 players compete in winter and summer leagues at Sports Zone. And what makes the indoor facility special, the ability to play year-round. Rain, snow, and sleet never stop the action here.
Good finish.
Coaching director for the Iowa City Soccer Club, John Cook, really knows the value of year-round training. He sends 14 teams to play at Sports Zone every winter.
We have kids play there probably every night of the week during the months from November through March, and we play 10 or 11 months of the year. So for them, without having that facility, they wouldn't have an opportunity to compete in games, which is important to their development.
And you can see the development in the results. Several athletes who play at Sports Zone helped lead the Iowa City West boys team to the state title. Meanwhile, Kennedy goalkeeper Jake Settle, who earned a scholarship to play for Wisconsin, also trains year-round at Sports Zone. Plenty of girls' teams hit the indoor field, too. Xavier standout Jamie Spoden says practicing at Sports Zone definitely helped her team this season.
We've gotten out here and practiced a lot, and we worked really hard in the off-season this year, and during the season it just improved a lot.
And the Xavier girls went on to qualify for the state tournament. It's clear for soccer there's no place in Iowa like Sports Zone, a year-round facility where weather never keeps players from getting their kicks. In our town, Hiawatha, Kent Lee.
And point. Be patient, Caleb. Be patient.
TV9 Sports.
That completes our quick tour of our town, Hiawatha. Join us as we travel east to our town, Marengo, when we come back. Welcome back to this Our Town Special. Marengo's town motto is so welcoming that we at KCRG TV9 took it to heart. The town sign says, "Our town, make it yours." We definitely have this summer. Our town, Marengo, is surrounded by water. The Iowa River and the Bear Creek border 3 sides of the Iowa County community. More than 2,500 people call our town, Marengo, home. Historians believe Marengo was named after a river valley in Italy where Napoleon Bonaparte won the Battle of Marengo in 1803. Others tell us Napoleon named his favorite horse Marengo. Whatever the reason, the Marengo of today is a welcoming place filled with interesting people. On the north side of our town, Marengo, along the Iowa River, there's a piece of land just waiting to be turned into a park. This 131-acre plot will soon become the Iowa River Gateway Park and Preserve. The park already includes 2 ponds filled with fish, but organizers plan to add an arboretum, a hike and bike trail, and maybe a soccer field. The rest will be turned back into a natural Iowa prairie.
Every town has got a mowed park, every town's got a swimming pool, every town's got a golf course, but very few towns have an area next to it where you can walk down or bike down a trail that's got native prairie growing on the side of it, and areas where everyone can go fishing, the little kids and the older people, and it's our dream, I guess, to see a lot of little kids coming out here in their bicycles with their fishing poles.
Well, the largest hurdle for the park's organizers has been boat ramp access to the Iowa River. After years of planning, the DNR will build a boat ramp on the Iowa River later this year. And the Marengo Rotary Club is adding some special touches to the Gateway Park and Preserve. Our town Marengo artist, Kathy Ballard, is teaching members how to make willow benches. The benches will be placed along the trail in the park, and Ballard makes all kinds of things out of willow. She taught KCRG TV9's Angie Hunt that making willow furniture is easier than it looks.
The willow patch in Kathy Ballard's backyard is sprouting with new growth.
We have some here that grows very curly.
And that keeps Ballard's backyard workshop rumbling with power tools. Ballard is making a willow straight back chair, similar to the chair she teaches others to make.
It's a lot of fun. Most women have not got to use power tools. And I have a lot of women in the classes who just absolutely love it. I mean, they finally get to use the power tools and they find out how much fun it is. I have a feeling they go home and their husbands start to lose their workshops, like my poor husband lost his workshop.
Drills and nail guns shorten the process to about an hour and a half. Once the frame is complete, Ballard takes it inside for the finishing touches.
This is where my husband and I differ. I always go and look for very, very decorative pieces.
Decorative sometimes means crooked, but that's what makes each piece unique.
So you're trying to get them as close together as possible, but not quite touching, trying to get an even seat.
Ballard uses willow to build benches and arbors and to weave baskets. She stumbled onto this hobby by accident, but now it's become one of her passions. In Marengo, Angie Hunt, KCRG, TV9 News.
Kathy Ballard teaches willow furniture making classes at Kirkwood and Iowa Valley Community Colleges. She is also an accomplished artist and author. Many Marengo residents use the Iowa River for fishing, boating, and just about any kind of recreation. KCRG TV9's John Campbell spent some time on the river with a couple drawn to what it has to offer.
I decided to move to Marengo because I enjoy fishing so much that I wanted the river right beside me.
Also beside Ron Von Leenen for the past 44 years has been his wife, Karen. She remembers those early days of marriage.
And it was fun when you get off of work and it was hot, you know, and then we get in the boat and go down the mill race and go fishing. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I love being out in the nature. I just love it. So I picked out the right guy, didn't I?
And it's still fun for Ron and Karen, who often team up for catfish tournaments.
If I outfish Ronnie, John, I just say I had a good teacher.
Always a challenge. It's different baits, different places, you know. It's always. You never know where they're at. She got it.
Well, guess what? It's Karen who catches the first fish of the day. This channel cat caught on a mud leech, and that reminded Karen of a day that Ron put the leeches in the kitchen refrigerator.
And we had some steak in the refrigerator. And somehow them critters got out, and they ended up on that steak. That did it.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a leech on. I ain't going to let her catch them all. We just cracked her once, and then that was it.
He's lazy. He's not working very hard at all.
He left me again, John. Go on. She's got him.
Well, as it turned out, Ron was just a guide on this trip. It was Karen having all the fun.
She's going to outfish me yet. We'll have to butcher that.
Yes,
Karen.
on a slow day, the Von Leenen still managed a pair of nice cats on the Iowa River. That liquid ribbon that gives them almost everything they want in our town, Marengo.
Nice channel cat.
Now, Bob Olson has only been mayor of our town, Marengo, for 2 years, but he says he's been a river rat much longer than that. KCRG TV9's Cassie Willis spent a morning on the Iowa River with the mayor to find out why the two are inseparable.
Mayor Bob Olson was born and raised here in our town, Marengo.
I was the first kid ever born in Doc Watts' hospital in 1940, January 13th. They didn't even have a scale to weigh me. So he said, well, he'll weigh 6-7 pounds.
But his roots actually grow in the depths of the Iowa River.
I like it out here. I grew up on this damn river, you know. I grew up on the river in Bear Creek, and I just like it.
Olson describes himself as a river rat. He's also a fisherman, a trapper, and a storyteller. The Iowa River weaves in and out of his stories and his childhood memories. He built his first log cabin along the river at age 12.
The old Iowa River can be your friend or your foe.
Why do you say that?
It's a friendly river, but I've had 2 or 3 friends drowned in it, never found them. You know, but the Iowa River can be nice, It can be deadly. But you got to understand it.
After more than 50 years of floating down the river, Olson knows every bend and bramble along the way. Olson also knows just about everybody in town, and they know where to find him when he's not in the mayor's office.
It's a nice place to come. It's quiet. You can't hear a thing, you know, out here.
In our town, Marengo, Cassie Willis, KCRG, TV9 News.
Mayor Bob Olson also served as Marengo's police chief for 27 years before retiring. He says this is his first and only term as mayor. He wants to spend more time on his beloved river. One Our Town Marengo man has created his own little hideaway at work. KCRG TV9 Scott Sanborn shows why Whitey's Oil Company offers more than full service in our town Marengo.
Let's see. Do you mind?
You could say Whitey Ben Scooter is an avid deer hunter.
My wife won't let me hang them up the house, so that's why they're up here.
He's had 10 deer mounted and hung here at work.
I think they're pretty, and customers like them.
The mounts inspire some pretty interesting hunting stories from his customers.
Some of them are fact, some are fiction. A lot of them are exaggerated. But it's been fun being in here.
Here is Whitey's Oil Company, the last full-service station in our town, Marengo.
It keeps me hopping. We do a lot of tire work and stuff like that, and there's still a lot of people that want the full service, of course, want their windows voiced.
Ben Scooter bought the station in 1993. He keeps it open 50 hours a week, except during hunting season. That's when he takes a few days off to do some bow or muzzleloader hunting.
I like hunting, you know, by myself, so just sit there for 2 or 3 hours and you see a lot of stuff. It gets boring sometimes when you're sitting there, you know. I think it's just the anticipation of waiting. You know something big might be coming.
But Whitey is running out of room at the station, so the next something big might have to find a new home. In Marengo, Scott Sanborn, KCRG TV9 News.
You know, this isn't Whitey Ben Scooter's first Marengo business. He's also a plumber and a heating and cooling expert. You just can't beat the great outdoors in our town Marengo. Now it's time to head south to our town Kalona. We'll continue KCRG TV9's Our Town Tour right after this. Welcome back to this Our Town special. Now we turn to our town Kalona. Surrounded by fertile farmland, Kalona is nestled in the rolling hills of Washington County. More than 2,200 people live in the southeast Iowa community. Our town Kalona learned long ago the importance of tourism, and residents have found their niche with historical tours and unique gift shops related to the Amish culture living in the area. And our town Kalona considers itself the quilt capital of Iowa. From fabric shops to the Iowa Quilt and Textile Museum, Kalona flourishes in stitches and calicos. KCRG TV9's Cassie Willis spent the day with some of Kalona's quilt experts.
I like it there. I do too. Oh, yeah.
Kalona's Quilt and Textile Museum is one large climate-controlled room.
We just got so many to work with, it's going to be really tough.
But the talent it holds could fill many rooms.
We unpacked these the other night, Brenda Harrington and me, and we just were overawed by what they were.
Museum curator Marilyn Wooden worked hard to bring this display to our town Kalona.
Brenda, from your vantage point, what do you think?
By the time this day is over, 49 quilts commemorating September 11th will be hung.
Go that way just a tad. Another tad. Hold it.
Each quilt in this particular display provides a powerful message. Hanging those messages in a coherent order is a matter of trial and error.
You look at a quilt and you say, that quilt says, I really don't like to be here. I don't like that guy next to me. So then you just change it. That one will be perfect. Yeah, that'll work. That'll be perfect. What we're trying to do here is build something that women, in the Quilt Museum that is, that women can come and say, you know, what I'm doing with my hands really is art. It's really something that I contribute to my society. And the women that have done this show, for example, you can really see what they've done for our life and as a tribute to our life.
Whether you consider it a quilt museum or an art museum, each handcrafted piece adds another story to the room.
We have Only Today. It's what this one's titled.
In our town, Kalona, Cassie Willis, KCRG TV 9 News.
The Quilt and Textile Museum can be found inside the Visitor Center at the Kalona Historical Village. Unfortunately, the United We Quilt display has moved on, but the museum's current show is called Labors of Love. The display includes Amish and early American quilts. It takes more than a single museum, of course, to preserve our town's Kalona's history. Volunteers have created an entire village of historical buildings and museums. The Kalona Historical Village began with the restoration of this Rock Island depot. Now it's become a group of 15 buildings, each representing life in the mid-1800s and early 1900s. Tours of the village include a log cabin, an Amish country store, and a school, a post office, and a country church. The Wall Museum houses some unique collections, and the latest addition is a traditional Amish grandpa house.
Once the children are married and gone from home, one of them will stay at home on the farm and take on the farm, and then Grandpa and Grandma will move into a house, another house on the property. They'll either build a smaller home, and they can retire there with, of course, their daughter or son watching over them. And
on the grounds of the Kalona Historical Village, you'll find several museums. The Iowa Mennonite Museum and Archive gives tourists some background on the Amish and Mennonite religions. From family artifacts to historical records, this museum houses hundreds of years of history.
Like the Amish adhere to the very simple lifestyle, and pretty much the same as they had those many years ago. And they do without electricity, and they drive horse and buggy. But they're a hardworking people, a vibrant group of people that are content the way they have chosen their lifestyle.
The Amish in Kalona are very different than the inspirationists who live near Amana. The two religions come from different parts of Europe, speak different German dialects, and practice their beliefs in different ways. The bakery in our town, Kalona, is well known for its delicious baked goods. But it's the homemade noodles that most Iowans are familiar with. Every day, employees at the Kalona Bakery crack 120 dozen eggs for 20 batches of fresh noodles. The old-fashioned Amish country noodles you see in grocery stores around the state are made in Kalona.
We take them all the way to Keokuk, south, all the way to Galesburg, Illinois, east, north. We go like the Waterloo, Cedar Falls, Manchester, Dyersville, you know, and all the ones in between. And west, we just take them as far as Pella, and the Pella Bologna guy delivers them for us in western Iowa.
The bakery makes 5 different kinds of noodles in various widths. The next time you pick up a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese, pay extra attention to the cheese. It might have been made at the Twin County Dairy in our town, Kalona. The dairy collects milk from tankers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and workers can unload about 50,000 pounds of milk in 20 minutes. Then the cheese-making process begins.
We pump the milk out of the silo, run it through a pasteurizer. We add culture, and from there it goes into a cheese vat.
The dairy also makes cheese for Kraft's Cheese Whiz and American Slices. And the adjacent cheese house sells the dairy's fresh cheese curds and other Iowa-made products. About 2 miles northeast of Kalona on a quiet acreage is a family-owned wood factory. As owners and operators, the Brokaw family tree grows deep in the woodworking trade. Joel and Karma Brokaw and their 7 children are continuing the family tradition at JK Creative Wood and Gifts.
4 generations of Karma Brokaw's family were carpenters. Even her husband apprenticed in her father's wood shop. Now her children are becoming woodworkers too.
My husband and I have 7 children from ages 6 to 21, and so they're in kindergarten and college and about every level in between. They all begin with J or K. This is Justin, Kedron, Jeremy, Jordan, Jackson, Kyla, and Kaylin. The wood comes into the shop in long boards like this. We run it through a planer, then through this wide belt sander, and the gang rip cuts it up in long, narrow strips. It takes the guys a long time to get the wood ready before I can do the design. We use about 15 different types of wood, like walnut, oak, cherry.
The strips of wood are glued together into striped designs.
Each panel will have 12 strips to it, and so, for example, I would take 6 walnut ones here, maybe take 3 maple ones, go like this. Just kind of do every other one. Yesterday I just set up 100 of these panels, and yeah, we just stack them up and these guys glue them and then dry them, and what they were doing over there was cutting them again so that they can glue them again like this.
These colorful panels become clipboards, cutting boards, and other decorative pieces.
My husband cuts the strips of wood and gets them sanded, and then I do the designs. And that's how we work together. And even more enjoyable now is to see our kids take off with it and say, wow, this is a new design that I came up with.
And each handmade piece becomes a showpiece in the family showroom. In Kalona, Cassie Willis, KCRG TV9 News.
JK Creative Woods products include coasters, chessboards, trays, and more. And Karma Brokaw's parents also own a woodworking business. They have a custom cabinet making shop in Iowa City. One of the fastest moving businesses in our town, Kalona, is the Sale Barn. An auctioneer keeps things rolling on sale days. The 50-year-old business auctions cattle, hogs, and horses for farmers in Iowa and across the nation. The barn is like a marketplace, drawing customers to all businesses in our town, Kalona.
I think any town that's got a business like this in it will survive as a small community. You know, we're not a Walmart or something like that where everything's shipped in, and it gives the small farmer a place that he can do business yet.
The first Monday of the month is horse sale day at the Kalona Sale Barn. Sheep and goats are sold on Wednesdays and cattle are sold on Thursdays. Down the street on B Avenue in downtown Kalona is a unique business called MaxCast. The company's product takes months to make, but it's designed to last forever. Steve Maxon is a sculptor and metal caster. He and his partner Doris create statues and other sculptures out of bronze and iron. The average foundry project takes several stages to create and 3 months to complete.
It's pretty challenging. You're always doing something different, you know, and you're working with all kinds of different things. It's not like you're just doing the same thing every day.
Steve Maxon has restored and created statues for clients all over the state, and he's restored pieces for the Capitol building in Des Moines. What a creative town. You can see our town Kalona is a great place to visit. We'll round out the Our Town tour in Hampton when we come back. Welcome back to this Our Town special. Our Town Hampton is home to more than 4,200 people in north central Iowa. As the Franklin County seat, Hampton is a bustling community with strong retail and industrial growth. Several specialty shops and beautiful parks give visitors many places to relax and enjoy. And the people of our town, Hampton, have their eyes on the future. The strategic plans for Hampton in 2010 include a new wellness center, more recreational options, and a renovated pool.
Over the next 10 years, I think we're going to see more and more younger families moving back to rural Iowa and to Hampton for a couple of different reasons. They want that type of quality of life for their families.
Our town, Hampton, just formed a new convention at Visitors Bureau last month. Hampton voters recently passed a local option sales tax benefiting its schools, and next February, voters will go back to the polls for a fourth time to vote on a school bond issue. Most of Hampton's industrial growth is sprouting on the southwest side of town. The 60-acre industrial park is bordered by the Hampton Airport and a Union Pacific Railroad line. With only 8 acres still available, city planners are searching to expand the park and draw more industrial growth.
Well, we've got a pretty good variety of businesses. We've got KFG Coating, which is a glass coating business, and they also have a tempering facility here. We have Redneck Trailer Supply, which obviously has trailer supplies. And then we have Omnium, which is a manufacturer of farm chemicals. And then our newest industry is Northern Pipe Products, which manufactures plastics, polyethylene pipe for just industrial purposes.
Our town, Hampton, is growing, and its population is becoming more diverse. The town's Latino American population has grown to 12%.
Hampton must have something good because it's like it's being like a magnified little town for the Hispanics because everybody's ended up here. I've heard that Hampton has more Hispanics than a lot of the towns around here.
With this new culture comes some unique traditions. This Latino American dance group began performing in some of Hampton's festivals this summer. These 23 children practice traditional Mexican dances twice a week for their special performances.
It's good for the children because it reminds them of their background and how it creates unity, and unity is force, and just kind of helps the kids grow in understanding.
The folklore dance group's next performance will be Labor Day weekend during Hampton's Summerfest celebration. Downtown Hampton is built around a double square. One square features the Franklin County Courthouse, the other is Bandshell Park. But surrounding these squares is a bustling downtown community. The Main Street Hampton project began refurbishing downtown 12 years ago with new storefronts, new signs, and soon new vintage lighting.
As we promote downtown, we're economic development, we're historic preservation, we're marketing, promotion, anything that helps downtown and to keep it vital and growing.
Main Street Hampton receives funding for these projects through annual fundraisers and state and county grants. And the Downtown Hampton District has been nominated for the National Register of Historic Places. Everyone in downtown Hampton hears a wonderful sound each hour. The bell on top of the 113-year-old Franklin County Courthouse rings out. But there are some problems behind that majestic ringing. The clock tower is in disrepair, the substructure is in poor shape, and the metal covering is deteriorating. It will be a major investment to either restore, replace, or cap it. Estimates range from $600,000 to $1.5 million. County fathers want to preserve the bell tower and will be taking their preservation ideas to the taxpayers for approval. One supervisor believes the outcome will be symbolic for Franklin County's future.
How Franklin County residents address this need, this situation, also reflects on how we're going to handle other situations and problems. And I think it's going to kind of identify a pattern or an attitude of what we expect Franklin County to be over the next 10, 15, 50 years.
Ploggy says the county's budget is tight, so they are setting up a group called the Franklin County Charitable Contribution Foundation. Now that group will fundraise and seek grants. After that, they'll go to the public for referendum support. The Franklin County Bell Tower, a symbol of Hampton's past as well as its future. The church members of our town Hampton have come together to serve a need. They built the Hampton Community Christian Daycare Center 2 years ago. More than 600 people donated money to build this center. It is the only licensed daycare facility in town. But the center isn't making a profit yet because it's only serving about 60% of its capacity. That hasn't strayed the center from its purpose.
Our main goal is to take care of kids, and so in a Christian atmosphere. The Christianity is present in the building, in pictures, stories that the kids read and are read to, songs that they sing.
The Hampton Community Christian Daycare Center cares for kids from all over Franklin County. Another project that's brought the people of our town Hampton together is the newly renovated Windsor Theater. The movie theater had fallen into disrepair until a group of volunteers raised money to bring it back to life in 1996. Now the Windsor plays movies every day of the week. The marquee was refurbished in 2000 and the seats were replaced last year. The kids of Hampton like the movie theater most.
The theater's here for the people to enjoy, an option to, I guess, getting kids off the streets and in the seats.
In the future, theater manager Jim Davies hopes to market the theater for business meetings and private parties. There's nothing quite like the feel of flying. One dentist in our town Hampton likes the feeling so much, he became a pilot.
I just like the freedom of it, the speed, being able to go places that other people take hours to get there.
Dr. Paul Senser is the pilot of a 1936 Stinson Gull Wing. It's just one of 4 still running in the United States. Senser spent 2 years restoring the vintage aircraft. Now he flies to air shows all over the country.
Speed was not its forte. It was built as executive transport, and it's very comfortable. Flies a lot like a big old Cadillac or Lincoln Continental, something along that order.
Now, the 1936 Stinson Gull Wing is so rare that Hallmark plans to release a Christmas ornament commemorating the plane later this year. 3 miles north of our town Hampton, you'll find a beautiful spot to explore. Beeds Lake State Park features 270 acres of land for fishing, camping, picnicking, hiking, and swimming. Beeds Lake used to power a sawmill and a flour mill before it was turned into a park. The lake spills into a creek at this 170-foot-long spillway. Water cascades over horizontal layers of limestone for 40 feet. Both the spillway and the park lodge were built by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s, and they're still being used by the people of Franklin County. Every March, our town Hampton is home to some of the strongest arms around. The Jaycees host the State Arm Wrestling Championships at Hampton's Convention Center. KCRG TV9's John Campbell talked to one of the best in the business, Hampton's Matt Whipple.
That's pretty much how the whole pull's going to go, too. Just right straight through and just working the pull.
Sunday evening, and the Arm Wrestling Academy is in session in Matt Whipple's basement.
Try to pinch down with your fingers, too. Okay? Ready? Yep. There. That's nice.
Scott Daly, Mike McCabe, and John Hovinga have joined Whipple for instruction and practice in the art of pulling.
Fingers, I'm going to chop in on the wrist right in here.
Matt Whipple has been serious about this since 1995.
I liked it, and the thing that really got me was that the first tournament I ever did, I won. So it got me hooked. It's an individual sport. When you go up there, it's one-on-one. And the thing that I like most about it is that the adrenaline, and it's all you. And the adrenaline, and when you get the win, you know, in a tough match, you know, that's the stuff that really keeps you coming back. I've always said that it's about 70 to 80% technique and about 20-30% strength. Yeah, you can see I'm not a big muscled up guy, but you know, I can take on big guys like this and hang, simply because I have a lot of technique ability.
In 2001, Matt made every stop on the Heartland Arm Wrestling Association circuit and came away the points champ. Whipple was also the 2002 Iowa State champ, a title he won on his home turf.
And one of the tournaments that people really enjoy coming to is the Hampton tournament. Not just for the competition, you know, not just for the big trophies, but they come for the town support. Hampton puts on a good show. You're definitely at an advantage.
The Hampton Arm Wrestling Show in March is a long way off, but it's always on the radar for Matt Whipple and his buddies from our town Hampton who enjoy testing their mettle in the art of arm wrestling.
We found some delicious restaurants during this summer's Our Town tour. We'll take you inside Oscar's restaurant in our town Hiawatha and inside Fat Daddy's in our town Marengo right after this. Welcome back to this Our Town special. At Oscar's restaurant in our town Hiawatha, it takes a family to run a successful business. The Shellhoob family lives together and works together, and they still think it's fun. KCRG TV9's Angie Hunt takes us inside Oscar's restaurant in our town Hiawatha.
I'd give anything to work here.
At age 12, Cassandra Shellhoob isn't old enough to work at her parents' restaurant yet, but she does like to eat here.
I love waffles with strawberries and whipped cream on top. It's so good.
Cassandra's older sisters have already put in many hours.
I waitress, cook, buzz tables, wash dishes sometimes, basically everything.
Cooking, waitressing, setting up people, bussing tables. I've only been a dishwasher like once or twice because I don't like it. It's not very fun.
There you go, thank you.
Their parents, George and Marie, bought Uncle Oscar's restaurant 15 years ago. They chose to keep its name.
Hiawatha's been a blessing for us. Seriously. When we moved from the other location to here, it's been wonderful.
Marie and George do most of the cooking 7 days a week, and they've done so for more than 8 years. Youngest daughter, Sarah, is used to hanging out at the cafe.
Here most of the time, and a lot of your family is here, not at home. So it kind of feels like it's a second home.
The Shellhoobs are most fond of the regulars.
You know, they're very supportive. You know, and you always have good days and bad days, but we try to make them all good days.
But it's fun. It really is. Because, you know, you get to see the customers, and they've got stories to tell you, and you'll hear something new every day.
The Shellhoobs believe their customers are part of the family. The food is a means to get to know one another better.
you know, you see them growing, they see you and your kids growing, you see each other every day. I think all those times talking to special people, some of the, you know, a lot of our customers are our friends, they're our family.
The hearty breakfast and fresh tenderloins are an added bonus. In Hiawatha, Angie Hunt, KCRG, TV9 News.
Marie's mother and George's father work at the restaurant too. There's a restaurant in our town, Marengo, that's gaining popularity. It's called Fat Daddy's. FAT is an acronym for pretty hot and tasty. Customers say it's the best food in town. So KCRG TV9's Renee Chu decided to check it out.
When Mike Curry came back home to our town, Marengo, he had an idea.
Don't come here and expect you're going to get on a diet.
With help from every member of his family, Mike opened his own restaurant 3 years ago.
Something he's always wanted to do, and I think something that we needed in our small town.
Fat Daddy's is the busiest restaurant in our town, Marengo. Mike's mom, Carol, bakes all the special pastries and treats for customers.
She does all the dressings and from scratch. She's known for her French dressing, which that'll be in a jar here pretty soon. And my dad comes in on Sunday mornings and does whatever Mom says.
Anything else at the moment, folks? All right, enjoy.
And my brother works. He works the front of the house. And my sister is the graphic art design.
I mean, it's crazy, you know. I mean, you have families that bring, you know, their family that are out of state and everything, and they're just like, wow, you know, this is really neat. You know, we'd never expect this in a small little town like this.
Mike says the secret is in the spices.
We use it in all our sauces, the steaks, anything that we cook, we put this in it.
Everything is made from favorite family recipes. Mike puts raspberries in his barbecue sauce, marinara sauce in the French dressing, and he won't say what makes the Alfredo sauce so good. This is more than a 40-hour-a-week job for Mike and his family.
It's a passion. It's not a job.
It's a place with an unusual name that brings the Curry family together almost every day of the week.
Yeah, I'm glad to have him home.
The chefs at Fat Daddy's wear some pretty wild pants. They're specially made chef's pants, but everyone at the restaurant calls them, the loose-fitting trousers, that is, fat pants. And you just might need a pair after eating the large portions at Fat Daddy's in our town, Marengo. Well, folks, that completes this summer's tour of Eastern Iowa. We hope you learned something along the way, from Hiawatha's business growth to the importance of Marengo's beloved river, as well as Kalona's respect for its Amish neighbors and Hampton's community-supported projects. Eastern Iowa is home to some of the best places on earth, and we hope you agree. I'm KCRG TV9's Denny Frary. Thanks for joining us. We leave you with a view only KCRG TV9's Captain Bobby Ratliff can give you of our town's Hiawatha, Marengo, Kalona, and Hampton. Have a good evening.